can lead us. You got me. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Feel free to turn the
My name is Ashley McGirt. I am the CEO and founder of the Therapy Fund Foundation. Thank you. So it means so much to me that you all gathered here and came here to learn about the work that we're doing at the Therapy Fund and how we're working toward creating health equity. I created the Therapy Fund Foundation during the pandemic, during the height of the George Floyd protests, which you'll learn a little bit more about our history and what really led to the manifestation of what is the Therapy Fund Foundation as well as our program. But I also want to introduce our amazing VSW intern, who is a University of Washington graduate this year, class of 2024. Has been working hard with us and really helping us to improve the work that we're doing, our program. She's been at events, tabling, and I'll let her tell a little bit more about her and why she decided to come and intern with us.
Hello everyone. Can y'all hear me well? Yeah. Okay. So a little bit about me. I'm a first generation college student and I come from Mexican immigrant parents, and so growing up, mental health was definitely something we did not talk about at all, and it was very stigmatized, and which is very similar to, like the Black community. And so one of my big passions is just like creating mental health resources and just creating those conversations and making it more comfortable and making these resources more accessible. So this is why I really truly love what the Therapy Fund Foundation is doing here, because this is just something I hope to do in the future too for my community. And yeah, I definitely have been very involved in my community, and I'm very excited for you guys to just keep learning about us today.
And we have a few others from our team who I'm going to have them introduce themselves to you and the role that they do here at the Therapy Fund.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Nasari Consolata. I am the outreach coordinator for the Therapy Fund. So some of you see me out in community and events, and yeah, that's what I do for the org.
Hey y'all, good afternoon. I am Jess, the Director of Community Engagement for the Therapy Fund Foundation. Definitely have seen me as well with Nasari and community at all the different events, and honestly, anytime you see me, please just connect.
Good morning, I'm Jacqueline Melba. I'm the program manager at the Therapy Fund. I don't like talking. I get anxiety, and she just gave me anxiety. I have been here for almost 3, and yeah, I'm in behind the scenes. I handle all the office work. We are hiring for an administrator. And he's in the office, so you know anyone?
And she forgot to mention last week she was actually promoted to program director. So when you do the impact reports that are on your table, she's listed as program manager, but next year's impact report, she will be program director. And we have a couple other interns who are also graduating this year. They checked you in at the front, Brianna Gray Williams and Marissa Green. I think they're still out at the front. Yeah, they can come in and say hello. And then also our MSW intern, where did she? Oh, right over there.
Hello everyone, it's glad to see you all here. I'm Hilda and I'm the MSW intern. It's my first year. I'm really grateful to be interning with the Therapy Fund Foundation.
Is Marissa and Brianna Green? Okay, here's the amazing Brianna. Just got into every school that she applied to for the economic studies program at University of Columbia or NYU. And Marissa? And so while this is a lunch and learn, we also wanted to celebrate our interns who are graduating this year. So congratulations, Marissa. They have been a true blessing to our team. It's a lot of work running this organization, helping the community to receive free mental health resources. We're the leading organization in the state of Washington doing what we're doing, that is Black-led and really focusing on the mental health and well-being of Black community members. We also have, Amini just came in. You want to introduce yourself?
Oh, yeah, I'm Amelie, as you can see right there.
It's kind of tiny, but
Right smack dab in the middle, as staff interns. So I will just, came late, get a chair and roll up.
just put her on the spot. We have a couple other lovely volunteers in the room who have really been supporting our organization. It's National Volunteer Week, so we're super excited to have Renelda, one of our board members. I think I just saw Shavana walk in. Thank you so much. And here you'll see the rest of our board. We are looking for more board members, so as you learn about the work that we're doing, and if you're interested in joining our board, definitely reach out to one of us here. Connect with us, email. We'll send you some follow-up communication and about how you can join the board or volunteer and access other events and things that we have going on. And so we are going to begin with a land and labor acknowledgement.
Starting us off, we would like to take time to express our gratitude to the 29 federally recognized tribes throughout Washington state. We also would like to recognize Duwamish, Wanapum, and Chinook tribes who are not recognized by the U.S. federal government but have a long history in Washington state. And we acknowledge that the land on which we gather and work is the traditional territory of the indigenous peoples who have stewarded and called this land home for thousands of years and express gratitude for the custodianship of the land, waters, and resources that sustain us all. We are committed to learning from and supporting their ongoing struggles for sovereignty and fostering meaningful relationships based on respect, reciprocity, and mutual understanding. We also acknowledge the significant contributions and resilience of Black and African American people in shaping the history, culture, and labor force of Washington state. From the early days of exploration to the present, they have played a vital role in building communities, advocating for justice, and enriching our diverse society.
We also recognize the labor of Black and African American people, both free and enslaved, who labored on the land in industries and within institutions. Their contributions and sacrifices have been instrumental in shaping their growth and prosperity of this region. We commit ourselves to amplifying Black and African American voices, stories, and experiences, and to fostering an environment of equity, inclusion, and justice. We strive to learn from their past, engage in honest dialogue, and work towards dismantling systemic barriers that have perpetuated inequality. As we move forward, let us honor the land, labor, and cultural heritages of Black and African Americans in Washington state and across the globe, and actively support the ongoing fight for equity and justice. Together, we can create a more inclusive and equitable future for all.
And so just a little bit more about ourselves here at the Therapy Fund Foundation. Our mission is to eliminate barriers for Black community members who have a history of being historically excluded. Our vision is a world that offers health equity for all. And everyone suffers Everyone of us has mental health, and 1 of 5 of us suffer from mental illness. Nearly 60% of adults with mental illness didn't receive mental health services. And additionally, the Black community service, like the accessible services, they're not accessible as for white Americans.
So through our work, we are really working to change those numbers. Currently, we fund up to 16 free therapy sessions. So each person, when you apply, you get 8 vouchers, and then we check in with you, you complete like a check-in survey, and then you're eligible for up to 8 additional sessions. And we're really focusing on people in rural communities this year. We're still serving all of Washington, and we have future plans to expand really across the nation because everyone deserves free mental health services. And we're starting with the Black community. One, I'm the founder, I'm a Black woman, so I have the lived experiences of being a Black woman on this planet. And I'm also a clinician. And so as I mentioned earlier, I started this during the height of the George Floyd protests and the COVID-19 pandemic, which we're gonna talk a little bit about COVID-19 resources and really how that catapulted the work that we're doing here. So oftentimes, many people in my community, they would be seeking out mental health services, and there's already a struggle of finding a clinician of color. There's less than 4% Black clinicians throughout the entire United States. So then when you find one, you are also then plagued with, okay, do they take my insurance? Can I afford the out-of-pocket costs? And knowing that I wanted to serve my community members, I offered extremely low rates. And oftentimes it put a burden on me as a clinician. And then when the pandemic happened, folks were like calling on therapists to work for free. And I kind of felt away. I was like, okay, many of us have $100,000 in student loan debt, myself included. University of Washington, Clark and Atlanta, they are not cheap schools. Shout out to all the HBCUs out there for, yes. But I was like, okay, the burden of being able to provide good care, adequate services to our community should not have to fall on clinicians. So what is a way that clinicians can receive a market level rate and community members receive free therapy as well? Because most people know us for providing free therapy, but what they don't know is that we also pay a market level rate to our clinicians. We also have several different programs here that we offer. So the backbone of the Therapy Fund Foundation is the free therapy program. We've covered over 2,000 free therapy sessions to date, probably leaning closer to 5,000. So last year we covered 200 individuals. This year the same goal is to fulfill 200. I believe we're at, what's the number? So if you know anyone in need of free mental health services, in need of mental health services, which everyone here, we all have mental health, we all can benefit from therapy. 84. So we currently have approved 84 applicants so far. So again. We also have the McGirt-Adair Scholarship, where we provide tuition, training, assistance. We have a couple scholars in the room today, Hilda and Brianna, who are recipients of the McGirt-Adair Scholarship. We've given almost $100,000 to date, and we've funded 32 students. Oh, and Houston, there in the back. He is also a recipient, and he will be finishing his bachelor's in psychology shortly. We also have a peer support service program. As a clinician, I recognize that individuals with lived experiences can sit with you in a way that I cannot if I necessarily didn't live through that. So we have a lot of peer support programs around addiction, LGBTQ and trans issues, other things. We've got Moms Group, other things that really also tie into connection with our Preserving Black Family program, which is really dedicated toward preserving and sustaining Black familial relationships, because we know through American chattel slavery how Black families were torn apart, separated, and we are still dealing with that. After slavery ended, then we had welfare laws where men were not allowed to be in the home. Compiled with mass incarceration, where there's a disproportionate number of Black men in our prison systems, which are separating the Black family. Add on to that trauma, post-traumatic slave syndrome, and how does that impact our families? So we recently had a conversation on healing colorism in Black families and what does that look like. Many of us come from multicultural families. We are all different shades and colors. My sister's in the room. She's several shades lighter than me. Omni, I don't know where she went. Oh, came from the same mother. My mom's supposed to be here at some point as well. But what does that look like? How does that look if you're a child who doesn't have the same shade and complexion of your mother? And how do you form that relationship? Whereas my mother is my color and my sister is this color that you see. We also have our Youth Heal program, which is really focused and designed on improving the mental health and well-being of Black youth, preventing gun violence. We've had a lot of gun violence in this community. What was it, 2 years ago, we were hit extremely hard. It was like back-to-back murders that were very close to our community from Devon Pickett, where we did business with their family. We're mailing out postcards. Those are the stamps that we got from the post office. So we did business with them and we're very close to them. And then Elijah Lewis and countless other names of people who were murdered and very close to our community. So we're really trying to deter those numbers and lessen that through the work that we do here at the Therapy Fund Foundation. So we'll talk a little bit about some of the COVID-19 impacts on Black mental health.
Yeah, so the pandemic just happened and it's still happening. It's still affecting our day-to-day lives. And so we just think it's very important to continue talking about how it's affected us and how to, reach those resources that are going to be able to help us in the long run. And so the pandemic continues to impact the Black community through the public health, through economies, through just social interactions. We were kind of closed off to that, and being able to create those connections in person and just one-on-one with each other. And it has also overwhelmed the healthcare systems, and with the just loss and grief, and it's definitely still an ongoing process of the healing journey and just trying to make sure we're all connected with one another. And so just continuing on some more challenges, the health disparities and the economic impact and the educational disparities has also continued to negatively affect the Black communities. And we just, here at the Therapy Fund Foundation, we're trying our best to just make sure that we're able to, work towards fixing what happened and just,
Creating health equity,
Creating health equity.
improving mental well-being, and really eliminating barriers to healing. And we saw a disproportionate number of Black community members who were impacted by COVID-19. Most of us were in generational households, were on the front lines, had to go out, go to work to support our families, put our families at risk by going back into the home, living with a family member who may be at risk. So what are the ramifications of how that will impact our mental health? I saw a beautiful documentary called Katrina Babies, and it really looked at the impact that Hurricane Katrina had on the children during Hurricane Katrina. So if you watch that documentary and you see how their mental health and their psychological development was really impacted, that potentially can happen to COVID babies and for the children who were around during COVID-19, which is still a very real thing. So through our work, we're hoping to mitigate those circumstances so that they don't have all of the psychological stressors that will impact them. Go ahead. Oh, no, I got your thing.
Around here.
Peace and blessings, everybody. My name is Michelle Reese. I am a Seattle native, Southern raised. I am a professional 9 to 5. I'm a school-based healthcare coordinator for Odessa Brown Children's Hospital. So I work at Leschi Elementary School, been there for 6 years, and this year they have me at Garfield 2 days out the week. So I first just want to really give so much homage to you for what you're doing in the community. Again, you're someone that I follow. I've met you before at an event. You know, you got one of my favorite favorite girls with you is your right hand. Sorry, I appreciate you so much. But your staff is always welcoming and pretty much walk the talk. So a lot of times some organizations, they do things out in the community, but it's not always the same. So I appreciate the work that you're doing, and I didn't know all of the different peer programs and all of the different programming that you do have. And I signed up because I was like, okay, I want to get connected more to the therapy fund. I've been on there before and have been able to connect some of the families that I work with to some of the therapists. But it's also like, okay, well, me, like I've done different organizations, been a part of different sisterhoods, but it's like, how do I get in and get the support when I'm also needing to provide the support, right? And so I'm just like at this point where, and I believe in like divine intervention where things, like there's a lot of people in this room that were connected in different community aspects, and I just believe like it's really a movement and something that I would love to continue to connect with. So I appreciate everything that you're doing. It's really needed in the schools so much, especially with just with gentrification. A lot of our babies don't have that place. There's a lot they're being taught, of course, by educators that don't look like them all day, and also sometimes being pushed in systems that are for their behavioral health that really don't support them in the long run. So I appreciate what you're doing. I'm very much looking to connect authentically in a different way and for myself professionally. And then I just have one question, because as you do the work and it's heavy, and what do you all do to fill your cup? Like, I know they always say, well, you should have a therapist as well, but amongst that, what is something that you do to fill your cup?
So a couple things I'll just say. When we are in the school, so we're connected with Rainier Beach, Franklin High School. We just did a whole wellness tour out in Snohomish because we really want to get into those predominantly white schools as well, because we know what it's like for those black students when they're the only black person. I grew up in Marion, and that's the reason why I do this work. I was the only dark-skinned person at that time at Seahurst Elementary. Everyone else was mixed, lighter skin, my own siblings, and I was the darkest one of the bunch. And my grandmother passed, and I ended up suffering from grief that turned into major depression and experienced suicidal ideation. And I went to a white school counselor who didn't know anything about the role of grandmother in black families and really dismissed it as it was just the normal cycle of life. My grandmother was 62 years old, and she died from a stroke. She was extremely stressed out, and I often wonder, had she received therapy or had some other mental health support, would she still be here today? But no, she drunk herself to death and ended up dying from a stroke. That's the reality of my grandmother's life. And so that is why I pivoted, because as I spent my time in session, I had to educate a grown white woman at 9 years old on what life was like for a black child growing up in America. And I didn't end up getting my own healing. So I started reading psychology books. Why do I feel this way? I would go to my community, just pray, just pray. And I definitely believe in the power of prayer, but faith without works is dead. You can pray and. And so that is why I'm in this room, and that is why I did not go to law school, and I chose to study psychology instead, because I wanted to help other people who looked like me, so that they don't have to be in a room with individuals who don't understand this work. And we vet every clinician, and all skin folk ain't kinfolk.
Come on.
If you're a black or brown person, we do not approve you. We have to understand, have you done work? Do you understand the impact that racism has on our psychological development, our behaviors, how we interact and show up in this work? It's not a Teach for America program where you get to go and check off the box that you work with the black community. You have to have had some experience working with our community. And we will help you get that. We will help you get the education. We will refer you to the People's Institute on undoing institutional racism. We have a wealth of books that we will give you for free, trainings that we will support you with, and then you can come back and then work with our community. sometimes they get mad at us and they'll respond, Jocko gets all the emails, but I'm black. Okay, but you can't do this. So, you know, the first black therapist I went to dismissed racism. And so I told you my experience with the white clinician, and then the black one who was just arguing with me in the therapy session and trying to dismiss everything that I went through, and this was a black woman. But yeah, so part of my self-care routine is I am a therapist. I do also do my own therapy. I have a therapist that I go to. Also, my community, I have a very supportive husband behind you, who, you know, I'm able to speak to and really just process. Grounding. I'm a summer baby, so I love the water. I'm constantly always near the water. And one of my favorite places is Alki, and unfortunately I watched a man be murdered 10 feet in front of me at Alki Beach, and that impacted my experience at Alki. So then I had to find a new body of water. Now I'm able to go to Alki and kind of enjoy it, but I like to be near the water at all times. And I have the privilege of living in both San Diego and Seattle, so I go back every other week, and there's sun and beaches in San Diego. So yeah, I'm out here with all this rain right now, but my husband's going back home today. So yeah, we do a lot of traveling, which sometimes can be helpful going, but I always say do the work, don't just vacation in a way. But that is also part of my process, is traveling, being near beaches, bodies of water, just out in the earth, literally barefoot into the ground. Prayer, music, I love music, and that's been a big part of my healing routine, as well as writing. I write a lot, I do poetry. I'm going to a poetry event tonight. You all are invited. Our Vice President, Deontay Danford, he's not here today, but he is hosting it, and it is to raise awareness and funding for RESOL. RESOL was recently broken into, and so we're doing I'm attending, they're doing a poetry event tonight to raise money, and I can get you all that information if you would like that. Yeah, their building was extremely damaged, they lost a lot of money, so they are raising awareness, and that's part of my mental health, is hearing poetry. But yeah, if y'all wanna share how you stay well during this work, Jacquel, we won't put it on you, okay? And after the work we're done, this is wellness.
My way, I guess, I go shopping.
Yes.
We're trying to stop her, so.
I currently have a therapist. I'm one of the ones on the team that has been on therapy. Didn't get there. I think what is discouraging me from going to therapy is all the therapists that look like me are on our directory. And I don't wanna, I work closely with them, so I don't want to. So I'm gonna find someone.
We're gonna find her
I'm gonna find
far away.
Like
Like
myself.
London.
Yeah, she do. She's from here. Yeah, so I like to go to the Nike website. I need some self-care.
That's my kind of girl.
She has a lot of Jordans that we're trying to get her to do.
I'm working on that too. Me too. I'm a therapist to help me with that. But yeah, that's what I like to do. And spend time with my kids. I have 2 kids, you know.
I saw one of our volunteers, mine, were you gonna share what you do to stay well?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I feel like everybody has that formula that works for them, that helps them stay grounded. It's almost like a recipe to your own personal recipe that makes your own dish turn out perfectly. And for me, that's faith, family, and fitness. Whenever I feel like I'm off, I'm like, okay, how's my spiritual practice? Have I not worked out lately? Or have I not had quality time with either my husband or my grandbaby? So whenever I don't have those things, I'm also water is really vital for me. But whenever I don't have those things, I just notice my mood shifting, or my, just, so faith, family, fitness, and that's it.
And so we have a short video here that really goes through our history and talks a lot about how we're created. And if you didn't grab a plate, definitely go ahead and grab your food.
Black health matters physically and also mentally. That's where it's catching us.
Absolutely. This is why we've gotta really be appreciative for services and organizations out there that are intentional to provide free therapeutic services to Black community members. You know, shout out to Washington Therapy Fund, our girl Ashley McGirt, everything that they're doing over there. You know, when you look at the reports of all of the people that they've been able to help, it's phenomenal, man. And it's definitely necessary.
We serve everyone from the Black diaspora in Washington State and are expanding to California residents starting in San Diego.
Provide workshops, education, tuition assistance, cultural events around mental health issues. Some of our program
policies. And as you already know, that there's huge social determinants of healthcare disparities, there's mental health professional shortages, there's nursing shortages, and it's continuing to get worse. We have advanced technology that is allowing people to live longer. So these baby boomers, where they're gonna be like, what, 2050, over 80,000 more. We need to start bringing people into this business of healthcare, behavioral health. We're all interdisciplinary team members. So I love what my daughter does. She's amazingly blessed. She's good at what she does. And I support her in everything that she does. She's heartfelt. And we don't have that here in Washington State. And I know firsthand, being in a university where I have to fight for my grades. And so I shouldn't be in a position like that. So I'm so glad to be here and to find out where my daughter's at, what she's doing, how I can help support.
Thank you. My name is Vicki Shannon. I believe I spoke to you on the phone and you sent me the link so that I could sign up for this. I had never heard of your organization. I saw the information about this taking place on a sign out on the highway here as I was passing by. And so that prompted the phone call to find out about this organization, get registered for this event. I concur with everything that has already been spoken. I applaud you as a young Black woman to step out like that and found an organization like this. Definitely it is much needed. And, you know, our people get dismissed a bit. Folks don't believe that we suffer trauma because we've had to withstand so much and internalize what we have gone through and continue to go through. We don't have very many people that we can talk to about it. And most of our families have someone in it that has experienced a mental health issue. And trying to find help for them is really something else. And I just recently attended a service for a Black man who had his own private mental health company, and he just passed, Mr. Joe Gillis, and he is going to be very missed, but I'm glad to know that there are up and coming young people, their interns, amazing, and so thank you for pouring into them and giving them the opportunity to learn about us and how we can help us. Okay, thank you.
And since you spoke, I didn't know you were gonna take the microphone. But you were the very first person to check in, so you actually won 2 free VIP tickets to our Reclaiming Wellness Conference. So I can say, our keynote speaker is a good friend and mentor of mine, Dr. Joy DeGrew, the author of Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. So yes, you will get 2 free VIP tickets. And the VIP experience comes with 2 signed copies of her book as well.
So my name is Lolitha Williams, and I came because I wanted to put a face to the people that helped save my life. When I was going through something and didn't have any access to health care, when I almost relapsed after so many years of being clean and didn't have any money, had lost my job, and reached out to my therapist, and she connected me to you guys, and I just wanted to put a face to it. So I can share it with other people, right? And I should get some for being the last one.
And one of our presenters is in the building, Amanda Smith, who's going to be presenting on providing mental health support to those who are incarcerated.
Is it on? Okay. Okay, my name is Mary Williams. Hey, Micah. Hey, Lalisa. I see a lot of people that I know in the room, which is wonderful. I've been watching you for a long time, since the seed was first planted. And so I'm just really also in awe of how it's mushroomed, and I've watched it just grow and come to fruition. So congrats and high praises to you. I was watching one of your YouTube interviews, and it was called Racial Trauma in the Workplace. And I finally, I've worked in a lot of nonprofits. I'm a true Seattle girl. But I'm finally with Public Health after many, many years. I'm finally with the county, and I'm coming up on my probation period, ends on Monday. But that video put words to so many of the things that I'm experiencing. And so I just want to honor you for that as well. And just also say that, anytime that we are struggling, one of the first places that is available is other sisters. And we have a beautiful affinity group at the county, so that's been a healing journey. But as you spoke about, the ability to find a therapist that looks like me has been a very rare one. The therapist I have now is in London, and we talk over Zoom. So I just want to raise up that this is an ongoing issue. I'm a clinician at the jail, and I work in chemical dependency. And so, as you know, mental health and chemical dependency are often intertwined. So I'm just excited to do this work, and I've already volunteered for the conference, so call me up.
Hello, my name is Caprice. I have started an organization called Just to Rise Above, helping women through their prenatal period, helping them get services for therapy, doula support, midwives, peer support, and essential needs for those babies and the mothers. And I actually came across Therapy Fund with my therapist as well. I was struggling through my perinatal period, and you guys helped provide the financial services for me to get therapy. So I really appreciate you guys.
Come on.
I wouldn't be where I am right now. So sorry. I was in such a dark space, and I didn't think I was able to climb up out of it, but thank you so much.
Come on.
Got us crying over here, girl. You're good for the soul. This makes this work worth it, because there's been some hard days, and really we do this for community.
I'm sorry, this is so beautiful. I'm trying to get a moment to just hold space for you. But I also got in contact with the organization through therapy. I had been, this was like back in 2022, and I had literally been looking for the right therapist for an entire year. And until I was able to go to Therapy Fund Foundation's website and literally search for Black ones specifically, I was not able to get connected to the right therapist. And I tell people often, like, literally getting in touch with therapy and starting that healing journey was one of the best things I ever did for myself and, like, for my daughter and for my community, just being able to heal with someone in a way that allowed me to really process my emotions while not having to explain certain things to her was, like, the key for me.
Come on.
I didn't have to tell her those racial undertones and different things I was experiencing as a Black woman because she already knew. So organization will always have a special place in my heart. I will always donate when I can, volunteer when I can, because I want this to continue to be a thing, and I want other people to continue to have access to it, because it's life or death for some of us. And I know that it changed my life, and it has changed other people's in the room, and will continue to change lives.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Antoinette Hamilton, and please give me grace because it's really hard for me to speak in front of people, and especially about the things that I want to speak to you guys about. I grew up in the Central area. I'm from Seattle, born and raised, from 28 and year one.
Come on.
To 27 yesterday. So, and I'm about 40 years old, so if you know what that's like, you know what that's like. You can pray. I don't necessarily have any affiliation with this program, but just when I first heard of it, which was it was a couple of years ago, I've known this program has existed. It's just that I live in Everett now because I had to get away from the things that I knew to raise my child. I've been in therapy since I can remember, probably 15, and it's always been hard, and it's really been tough to go over there and talk to you like that. Always feeling like I've been understood. At this point in my life, it's probably been about 6 or 7 months, but I actually did find a black therapist. And I can only be like, thank God that this has happened. But growing up, I was having a hard time regulating my emotions. Being a parent, trying to teach them how to regulate their emotions. It's hard for me to regulate yours. It's a tough thing to go through as a black woman, especially when we don't have a community. What really brought me here today is my struggle as a parent, living in Everett, not having actually, I have a daughter. And the things that we've gone through at her school, from her, I literally feel like she hates being black, like she hates me so bad, it's so hard, so self, to the point where she's cut her hair off so many times. It's not even that. And so that's what brought me here today, and just in search for that community and that support, because I'm struggling. And I just wish that something like this could reach the little black babies that are out there and they're struggling.
We got you. And we got your baby. And so I'm gonna have you connect us with your daughter, and we're gonna show her that black is beautiful. And we'll have it in you, and give you all the support that you need. You're looking at community right now. So every day, nothing but a minute away.
Click.
We got you.
Hello everyone, my name is Elijah Smith, and I really think I came here today for what just happened in Fern. I think that's what the real reason of things don't happen. For me, I don't think they're by accident. So I'm being really filled, and my story's being told, and it's not my story. And one thing I believe, I just really trying to open more of my purpose too, is just having grace for black women and particularly black mothers, because I know if I'm a black woman and black woman, and I'm going through things, I know they. So I just first want to say that. But what brought me to Ashley and therapy is doing what you're doing, advocating for my children and children in Seattle. Through the education system, I'm still trying to be healed from just the stuff that was happening to me and my children. And I ran for I put my name in the hat for a school board position, and you would think this mother, black woman, really trying to help be part of the community, they just came and attacked, right? And so Ashley was, Amari, converged, connected Ashley to me just to talk to me about what I was experiencing. Because the way I deal with my stuff, I quickly shut it down and just keep moving. So if I'm not dealing with it, that's not real. together. And that's just, it's an honor to be in that room, but at the same time, it's like, that's not true. And I just wanna say thank you for your courage, because my daughter, in her pregnancies, have similar experiences, and I didn't quite understand them. So you're helping me understand, so I can connect better to her and support her. But I really just come because Ashley's credible. You know? even if the services are available for us, that doesn't mean we always trust it. It was a black woman principal that I had to struggle with at the school, so we got to deal within our own community the traumas that we're experiencing, having the grace still to beat up in the process. So the goal is to not be divided, like how do we stay together and move through the journey together, even though sometimes we're hurting each other. Yeah, I just appreciate you, Ashley. It takes people that I feel that I can trust. So anything that you need, but Ashley's always showing up for me. And I call, answer the phone, or what have you. So I appreciate you. And having your mother here, you're her mini-me, is what I say that. So I know where you get it from. Just as for myself, I'm getting it from my mother, my grandmother, that strength. And it's really about the courage to step out and do it. And this is on the back of George Floyd, those who passed, when white folks felt sympathetic and wanted to start pouring money. But if it wasn't for your vision, it was gonna happen no matter what. But if it wasn't for your vision and how you're holding it with your team, and how y'all are present in the community, it just, I respect that. And I know that's what our community respects by us, by seeing this is real and authentic. So that's why I continue to show up. And I feel like I'm learning and growing to be a presenter. It's called mentally misunderstood. But Ashley trusts me to say, okay, well, you can do this. But I'm growing in that, and those levels of presentation, because I'm good with going to the school and showing up. But I don't know if I'm as great as like having to write a script all the way out. It comes by the heart for me. But anyways, I'll stop. But I just want to show gratitude, not just for you, but your whole team. And continue to just keep walking in your authenticity. It'll take you much further.
I just briefly wanted to speak to the gratitude that I have for this organization as a provider. My connection with Ashley started when I was in grad school, and no one in the room was interested in racial trauma. No one looked like me, so I did my own reaching out to other Black therapists in the area, and Ashley was one of them. And she would message me back and email me back. It just was there for me. And now that I'm walking in my own private practice, this program is still a blessing. I launched my private practice in January, about 2 years ago, and then February, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and so that took a hit on my ability to have income for my family. I was already just trying to do what I could, with taking a lot of clients on sliding scale, right? Like, this is what I'm here for, to be able to work for my community. But this organization, in the way that you make sure that we are getting paid as providers, really provided for my family during the time where I was not able to run my business as I had planned due to my diagnosis. So I'm grateful for this organization for that as a provider, so thank you.
We'll do the last three. 1, 2, and 3. And then we're gonna wrap up.
Hi, my name is Vivian Jones, and my friend here, she sent me a link to this event, and I was just super excited because I had therapy sessions. I can resonate with you, bouncing Black women therapists, and I just felt like I was helping myself, like I was answering my own questions. It was just really, I kind of swayed me away from therapy, but now I just feel like there's still some healing that I need to do. I'm a new mom, I did for 6 months, and I don't want her to experience my upbringing like I did. I want to be a better mom for her, and I think trying out therapy again will be very beneficial. So I'm very excited to connect, and also I am a certified life coach, and if you know about life coaches, we kind of help you where you are and kind of move forward. But I feel like some of my clients actually need therapy, and they kind of try to sway away from that, and they
kind of try to suppress that by trying to connect with a life coach. So I also wanted to connect with that in order to, for you guys to be a referral. So thank you. Hi, my name is Yasmin. I am an author and poet of the book Gospel Speaks. It talks about my experience in survival and escaping sex trade and what that impact is and how it impacts your mental health and wellness and, you know, other things. As someone else said, that substance abuse and mental wellness tie in together, and I've had those experiences. I actually met Ashley a long time ago, very long time ago, and I found out about this organization through Deontay. He's the vice president, and I shared my poetry at open mic, and he had hired me to come to Garfield to share my poem about addiction. And so he was the one who referred me to this therapist, the therapy fund. And I just want to say I'm so grateful for you guys, because with my experience going through the system, there was a lack of compassion, empathy, and understanding for a Black woman's struggle in society, navigating through that and trying to find informed therapists that understood the things that I don't need to speak about was very difficult. And so when I came to the foundation, it was very perfect timing because my therapist was on medical leave, and so I was able to receive therapy. I just finished my first 8 sessions, and I'm just so grateful because it's really kept me in a space of healing and really working through the trauma on a deep level. So I really appreciate you guys for holding space for us.
Hi everybody, my name is Steve. I'm a licensed esthetician, and I came today from the algorithm. That's how I found out about your organization. And I having gone through my own mental health challenges, I realized how important it is for us to cater to that side of us. Me being an esthetician is also about so much about how you look, and sometimes you forget about how you feel inside. Go through that process now teach me that I want to cater to myself physically, mentally, emotionally, and then have to bring to the thing. That's how I build my business around that to kind of help people connect with the mental health resources that they need after their therapy. It's not just about everyone's life, but digging so much deeper to make sure that you're doing well from the inside. So I really appreciate your organization and what you guys are doing. Just to see everyone being so aware and upfront about their healing journey gives me a lot of hope, because I see that in my Asian community, we don't talk about it enough. And to see that you guys are making it so normal to talk about your mental health and your challenges gives me hope that one day I can do that with my community also. So thank you so much.
Definitely feel free to take some food with you. We want to connect with you. We are funded primarily on grants and donations, so if you're able to, you can scan that QR code. We've got some envelopes that you can support us. Spread awareness, just maybe post on social media, let folks know that you were here, that you learned about the work that we're doing. Tap in with us, volunteer, join the board. We do have our conference coming up, July 26th, that I mentioned earlier. I'm going to close out and play that video, but definitely feel free to come by, gather, connect, share resources as we wrap up. I'm going to play the video about our conference. And if you can't be here in person, it is hybrid, so you can also tune in virtually and check it. You will also have the recording, but you won't be able to get the recording of Dr. Joy DeGrew's keynote. You will have to watch that live. So thank you again. We appreciate each and every one of you for coming today.
Therapy Fund Foundation's Reclaiming Wellness Behavioral Health Conference and Resource Fair, where attendees have come to network with us professionals and learn ways to improve mental health outcomes for communities of color.
So we are at a conference that is centering Black wellness, especially Black mental health wellness. It's been an issue that has become even more and more important important. And so I wanted to come and share my expertise on health equity and how we can close the gaps in terms of racial health inequity. Even the presence of one Black primary care physician in a county is providing methods.
We're working on reaching out there now.
It's more open now. People aren't afraid to say, I need help, or just going to a therapist and talk through some things. So this is important because we know that Black people are dealing with a lot. And even throughout this conference today, you heard people talk about the health disparities that Black people are up against, or inequities that Black people are up against. There's a lot of bias in different organizations. So
eliminating barriers to Black healing. Yes.